Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another SLG Meetup. Your host Alvaro to bring another exciting and successful guest. In this case, it's going to be two guests, which by the way, they are taking real estate by storm. They are disrupting everything content related. I'm excited to bring both Paige and Matt to discuss how to make yourself unique and outstanding and an outlier in such a competitive industry.
Hey,
Look who we have in here. The dream team. How are you guys?
doing good. How are you doing?
Yeah, you guys looking good in there. I love this.
Thank you. We try over here.
Yes. How are things over there in Utah?
Things in Utah are good. We're going into like the fall and winter months. It's beautiful here in the fall. Tons of really good fall drives and hikes and stuff to do, and excited for ski season. So yeah, it's fun.
Ooh,
I'm in
that's my
Toronto,
favorite.
but
But listen, all good. Toronto is nice. You know, it's fine because I think that Toronto and Utah have something in common when it comes to the fall season. It's just beautiful. I think the weather, and when it comes to the ski season, I think that's one of the most appealing things that a lot of people embrace. Me, based here in Miami, when it gets pretty hot, I always think of, man, I need to go to the mountains. I was just recently in Canada, not in Toronto, but I was in Vancouver, and then we went over to Whistler, and it's beautiful. And Utah, I gotta say that I go there every winter, and it's one of my most favorite destinations
So
to
you're a
visit in the winter.
here?
Oh my God, I learned to ski before to walk.
Oh, that's awesome. Where do you go when you come here?
Well, Utah, I go in many, many different places, but I gotta say that now I gotta take it a little bit easy because I've been focusing more on the running and all these ultra endurance races,
Yeah.
so I kind of not ski as much. But definitely, I'll let you know once I'm heading to Utah. But enough about me. I want to talk about you guys and how you've been taking real estate by storm. Your content has been going viral. And one of the things that I love about both of you is that you're super authentic. I mean, I found about you, Paige, through Matt, because Matt, I've been seeing your content for a while already. And it's very refreshing because I got to say that everybody thinks that in order for you to be successful, you got to follow a path. And is this blueprint on how to be successful in real estate? You got to focus on following the same footsteps and getting out of that route and being a trailblazer and just building your own path by being authentic is scary, is intimidating, and I will say is very rare these days. So let me start by that. How did you guys decide, screw everything else, we're going to build our own path and be authentic?
Matt, you want?
sure. Well, can you hear me? Can you hear me okay? I never know with these things.
Yeah.
Um, I, I was like literally weeks from getting out of the business. I just could not get anything going. I was trying to follow this blueprint that everyone was telling me to do, and I couldn't get anything going. I had these comedy style ideas that I told people about, and they were like, no, you can't do that. That's like career suicide. That's not going to be good. So I swept that under the rug, didn't think about it until I was literally like days from getting out of the business. And then I was like, you know what, I'm going to just like take a big swing here before I go back to my job at Sunglass Hut. And I did that, and then I never looked back since. And then I've met amazing people along the way, like both
And
of you.
well, I not only that, but now it also took you to speak in front of thousands of people on stages, inspire others to take on their journey. Because I gotta say that we all have our unique story and our unique passions and our unique way of doing things. But a lot of times we're afraid of taking that path. So when we see somebody like yourself being successful at doing that, it's a reminder that we can also do that in our own way. So I appreciate that. And by the way, you're a hell of a funny comedian. So I enjoy watching your videos.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I am kind of similar. I've been doing real estate for 10 years and I was always just like hustling, trying to get the next deal, the next deal, the next deal. And it's a lot of work behind the scenes of, I mean, the name of the game in this business is getting deals, especially when you're just a solo agent. Like you're only as good as your last deal, right? So if you don't have something in the pipeline, you're not making any money. And I kind of got sick of constantly searching for everything and having to be in front of people and have so many conversations every single day, which you still have to do. But in like 2020, 2021, I was like, how do I get my message out here instead of like calling people and bugging people? How do I just share the message that I want to tell to like 100 people at once? And Instagram Reels had kind of started becoming a thing. There were some funny ones. I love comedy and I love humor. So like anything that would make me laugh, I kept thinking, I'm like, oh, that would apply to real estate this way. That, oh, this totally has to do with this situation with this buyer. And so I posted my first one and I was like, oh, I feel like people in the industry are going to be like, you're embarrassing. Like, this is not professional. Like, I'm like, I'll just delete it if it's embarrassing or it doesn't do well. But it ended up doing really well. I got tons of comments. So I started getting really consistent with it. And what I found, first of all, is that a lot of people that were in my sphere or people that I knew or hadn't talked to in a while were seeing that I was putting in effort and that I knew what I was doing, even though it was like these funny little reels that I was posting. I also was very careful to have some sort of educational or helpful message in there somehow. And it grew my account. And the biggest thing that it's done is just kind of legitimized me as an agent. People can go on, see my page, see that I sell a lot of real estate. I know what I'm doing. And so when people are deciding what agent to use, it just kind of helps. It's really helped to grow my brand and help when people do reach out, they already know me, they trust me, they know that I know what I'm doing. And it just helps me get business in general.
I love that. I mean, for both of you, I think that the key ingredients in social media are to be sharing things that are educational, inspiring, and entertaining. And you are touching on each one of those. And I gotta say that by doing it in your own unique way, you're becoming memorable, which I think is what you just said right there, Paige. People at the end of the day, they will remember you more than any other agent in Utah or with you, Matt, in Toronto. And not only that, but you're building an international community because people are now starting to see your content, not just in your local market, but also in other different destinations. So I'm here in Miami and I get to know about you through the videos that you've been posting consistently. But my question here is, how do you overcome or how do you pass that stage of fear of posting that type of content or even just creating that type of content? Because everybody gets paralyzed. Analysis paralysis is like, oh my God, what people will think or what will other people say? So how do you pass that stage, that fear?
Yeah. Go ahead,
Go,
Matt.
Paige. You go, Paige.
Okay, sounds good.
I went first last time.
Okay, sounds good. For me, I mean, I always try to keep my blinders on. Like, don't worry about what anybody else is doing because it's so easy to feel like, oh, my stuff isn't good. This person's killing it. They're doing like such good content, or they know more about this area that I do. But the more you can just keep your blinders on and remember that most people aren't having anything to do with real estate every day. Like, they buy a house once every 5 years or so. And so anything that you've learned when you're boots on the ground out here working every day can be helpful to the guy who has a completely different career path and knows nothing about real estate. So actually my neighbor, Katie, she's probably not on here, but we follow each other on Instagram. She has this baking account. I've talked about this before at events and stuff, but she started posting these cakes and cupcakes. She's a really good, like amazing baker, super artistic. And she hadn't been posting for a while. And I was like, Katie, I haven't seen your posts. Like, how come you haven't been posting? And she's like, oh, I just feel like there's so many baking accounts. Like, my stuff is like subpar. There's so many accounts that are so much better than mine. But I'm like, Katie, I don't follow one baking account. Like, you are the only one that I follow. I know nothing about baking cakes, nothing about cupcakes or how to cook. So for me, I'm like, this is the best content I've ever seen. Like, super helpful. I've never even seen another baking account. And so it's just a good reminder for me, like, I think because I'm seeing real estate content all the time because of the algorithm that all these people are just so smart and everyone is seeing all this content, which they're really not. Most people aren't even following me. Most people are following maybe one real estate agent and they're not seeing it consistently. So just doing what you find helpful or you find funny and just remembering we're literally like on a rock spinning around in the middle of the universe. Like nobody knows what the hell is going on. Like really, who cares, you know?
That's the mentality. Who cares? Just go for it and stay consistent
Yeah.
at it. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, for me, kind of similar. I post now just what I want to see. That's the only thing I can really control is like, what do I want to see? What do I want to create? And hopefully people will like it. I used to honestly get like, in the beginning, people would say pretty mean things. They would like go out of their way to DM me like some pretty bad shit. And it got to me for sure. Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, like, I just don't care what people think. But you kind of do when you're like laying in bed at night. You're like, damn, why does that person, I'm actually like a nice guy. Why does that person hate
Oh
me so
man,
much?
the keyword warriors, they are just behind the screen, just
Yeah.
like roasting people for no other reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, carry on, because this is interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, and then it just got to a point where I was like, listen, there's a deeper problem with them if they're gonna go out of their way to do that to me. I can't control that. Not gonna say sometimes it doesn't bug me still. Sometimes I'll just be like, I'll get 300 nice comments, and one person will be like, "This sucks." I'm like, "Damn."
You think more about that comment
Yeah,
than
yeah,
the
yeah. I
other
think
good
more
ones.
about that. And it just is what it is. I think we're all like that. You know, I'd like to say that I don't care at all what people think, but I think everyone kind of does to an extent. And we just got to we got to roll with it and deal with it and understand that this is our business and this is what we want to do and this is what's making us happy. So let's just do it. We're never going to please anyone. We're not the Beatles. So
Another
Yeah,
thing I like to
we see
do,
that.
I've heard somebody say this once actually, but for me, I've gotten pretty good at not having it affect me. But sometimes you get that one that just stings, like
Mm,
something that you're already self-conscious about, and you're just like, gosh, damn it, those people got to me. But I heard somebody say this once, and now I always say this, but I just assume everybody likes me. Like if you just assume everyone likes you, and most people do the opposite. They assume everyone like hates them and like everybody's not liking their content. Just assume everybody loves you, and then if somebody shows you that like they think something different, it's really just them projecting. Like they have a problem with themselves and they're projecting it onto you. And so it's like the Gary Vee kind of
yeah.
mentality of that sucks for that person. Like nobody happy that feels good about themselves is going on and saying a mean comment, you know? So,
You know, it's something very, very profound, because I think that both of you have experienced that with attention, you get admiration, but you also get some hate. And it's nothing about being mean to people or not. It's just that your content is not going to appeal everybody, and some people are going to feel triggered. Even myself, with all sorts of content that I post, whether it's inspirational or educational, there's still people that are going to feel attacked because they feel like, oh my God, I'm not doing that, so why are you posting that shit? So I think that we all go through those early stages when our content starts to become a bit more viral, where we're going to receive those comments. And the question is, how do you handle it, right? You're going to get tougher skin as you're getting more and more of those, and as you start realizing that that's just part of the journey, right? But my question, and something that I believe a lot of the listeners want to know, is until what point you pass to that next stage? Because the reality is that I might post a content for 2 weeks and then nothing happens. No likes, no views, no comments. It's like, is it worth it to put all this energy? And then finally I start getting some attention, and with that attention the hate comes in. So at some point, a lot of people that I know, they give up. They're like, man, this is not for me. So how do you rewrite in your mind that, okay, this is part of the process, we continue, and then you get to the other side, which is success? Matt, let's start with you.
yeah, I think it's for me, it's a lot of trial and error, understanding that not everything's going to hit right away, or at all, and you just got to go through that process. And then, yeah, like you said, you do realize early on when you start getting a little bit of traction that not everyone's going to like it. Like the first couple is like a it's like a shock when someone doesn't like you, because everyone that I know likes me because I know them. And so like that's like, and I'm a pretty easygoing, like I feel likable person. Like there's not much not to like, other than I'm like 5'9" and not that handsome, but other than that, like I'm pretty good. But yeah, and I think it just like got to the point where it's like trial and error, and then just seeing the bigger picture and understanding that like there's there's so much more than that, than just right in front of me. Like I'm looking years ahead and at the future and like what I want to project and my big picture. So yeah, I'm trying to like unravel my story and tell my story, and that's part of it. And I'm just like, yeah, I've come to a place now where like I'm just not concerned like I was about the likes and the comments and the views and stuff like that. I'm just posting what I want to post finally. And that really
Mm,
started only this
right.
year after doing content since 2019. This year is the first year I really branched out from just comedy, and I went into some like higher end cinematic listing videos and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm just having a lot more fun. I feel just better about the content I'm doing, and I'm just not as worried. Not to say it doesn't sting sometimes, but I'm not as worried about what people are are saying anymore.
Mm. Now, Paige, let me ask you, do you have the same feeling? Do you actually enjoy creating the content that you create? Like, are you going through the process feeling fulfilled?
Yeah, I mean, right now I've gotten so busy that I'm like, oh, it's like I have so many listing videos I need to do. Everybody wants one now, and a lot of my sellers want them. So I'm like, oh, I've got to make sure I get all this content done. But for me, that's the part I like. I'm a creative. I'm not super organized, so I like the fun, creative aspect of it. It makes this business enjoyable for me, and I just think of it just like brick by brick. Every piece of content you put out, you're just getting better. If it sucks, you learn from it, and you can like evolve over time and get better at it. Like you're just building every piece you put out. And also, I've said this before on other stuff, but the nice thing is it really doesn't matter how many followers you have on across any platform anymore. So like anybody that's listening that has a low follower account, you can have 1 million followers. If you put out a sucky piece of content, it's not going to get shown to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So like if your content sucks, no one's going to see it. You can just delete it if you want. Like no one's seeing it. Instagram knows. You can have 100 followers, and if your content's really good, you can get 1 million followers. Like it could be out there to everybody. So it's really just a matter of what works and what doesn't. If your content sucks, no one's probably going to see it. If it's really good, you can have like a very small following, and grow your account very quickly and get it out to everybody. And now I almost like when I get some mean comments coming in, because then I'm like, oh yes, now I know it's getting pushed out there to the For You page or the people that aren't following me. Because if it's just my followers, like those people are all nice, they know me, if it's all nice
Yeah,
comments, I'm like, oh, it's just in my little sphere. But once you get the mean comments start
that
coming
means
in,
it's
that's
already
when you know it's
out there.
being pushed out,
I
so
love
I'm
that.
like, okay.
Paige, it's funny because I have a friend of mine that all of a sudden started to get all these super viral videos. And as you mentioned, she didn't have millions of followers, had like a
Yeah.
few thousand. And I asked her, it's like, how in the world are you getting so viral all of a sudden? And she tells me, Alvaro, there's one trick that I've been doing that has been working phenomenal. I was like, what's that? It's like, well, I have a fake account that I go and post and comment on my videos, something super nasty and mean, and I pin it. And I say, and I reply to it, and I say, what does my community think about this? And then everybody starts like replying and roasting each other. Oh, you said, and then it creates like a whole argument. But that picks up as something with the algorithm that pushes out there. So,
Yeah,
anyways,
that's
there is
sneaky. You're
trick,
your own hater.
yeah, there is tricks and there is things. But anyways, I think that at the end of the day, one of the most important things that we're seeing in here is to just stay consistent, enjoy the process, be authentic, which is what's going to make you stand out. And one of the things I wanted to bring up is, where do you get your ideas? Because a lot of people think, yeah, okay, I want to be different, authentic, but then they go to the property and they do the same thing that everybody else does. So do you find inspiration from watching other viral videos, or do you do by collaborating with others? What's the secret sauce to start?
Matt, I want to hear your answer to this actually, because
Okay.
I need some more ideas lately. I'm like out.
For me, I look everywhere. I just watched this documentary. I don't know if anyone's watched it. It's called Very Ralph. It's a Ralph Lauren documentary. A lot of people don't know I love fashion, and Ralph Lauren's my favorite designer. And I was so inspired by that. And I'm actually I have a couple campaigns coming out just from watching that documentary. And I just, like Paige was saying before, like I'm always looking at things through a real estate lens now, which is, I guess, a blessing and a curse. And everything I see is just like, how can I make this into real estate? And like sometimes it'll just be like something someone says, something that happens, something a line I think of, and I'll just write it in my notes, and then I'll visit it whenever I want to do some content. So I just have notes and notes and notes of like different things. Sometimes I'll look at like viral TikTok trends and try and adapt that and convert it into like a real estate thing. I kind of stay away from that. Like I don't do that a ton, just because with real estate agents, when there's like a viral trend, everyone, if you don't do it like within the first hour, it just gets
It's over.
oversaturated so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's complete, it's over. And then, but the other thing that I've loved lately is because Paige and I now are both at Real Broker, and we collaborate. Like we're constantly on the phone with each other and like throwing ideas past each other. And I know Paige was saying like she had this listing, and I was throwing some ideas at her, and then she was doing the same for me. So
Mm-hmm.
getting those different views of like, Paige thinks totally different than I think. So then like saying something to her and then her having her, own thought on it, it just opens up this whole new avenue of ideas and potential. So I've really enjoyed that kind of collaborative style of like, oh, what if we do this? And then, Paige will say something, then I'll say something, and then it's just like we bounce it. And then it's like this whole new
I love that.
world of
Matt
content. So that's been pretty cool lately.
gave me my that music studio one today. And this was Matt's idea, the one that you'll see today. It's going to be a fun one. But and then another agent in our group. Yeah, our new brokerage is a very collaborative community, so I'll help them come up with the ideas. I get inspired by music. Every time I'm scrolling, same thing. I have a folder saved in my Instagram saved folders of I just call it reels to make, and I'll just save it if I have a good idea of turning it into real estate or for a listing video or whatever. Like I had one that was a really cool video of a motorcycle. And I'm like, oh, this would be sweet if my videographer could make this, just do the same video with a house, basically. So I'll save stuff and remember it. And then, yeah, being at Real, the collaborative community has been awesome. It's interesting because it's a cloud brokerage, but I've done the most collaboration of any brokerage I've been at here, just because everybody's kind of invested in everybody winning. And yeah, it's just been a fun place to collaborate with other agents, help other agents. You're invested in them, and so it's been really fun.
I love that. Collaboration is the name of the game, and that's how you get the most creative ideas, right? By getting together with other creative individuals. In fact, one of the things that we were doing on our side is the creator's home, right? Like we're doing these creator houses. So every property that is for sale, we put it into as a creative house where we bring influencers and, we do all sorts of different activations, collaborations. And I think that when you also have this mentality of like OPAs, other people audiences, you can expand so much faster than if you're doing just alone. And now with all these features that Instagram and all these platforms have of collaborations, you can just tap into a new audience right away, right? And it helps to trigger the algorithm. And I love the videos that are viral that have nothing to do with real estate. You can always bring them back into real estate. So I love the creative approach of watching a documentary and get ideas to bring it into real estate, or what you're doing, Paige, of like thinking of other creative ways of doing the real estate video with what is already going viral or what other people are doing in another industry, right? It doesn't need to be just real estate. So it's pretty cool. And I wanted to just like mention, right? Like you both are part of the Real Brokerage and you're working together. Matt, you're in Toronto, Paige, you're in Utah. So you just gave a great example on how collaborations within a team are very fundamental. But what else makes you guys as a duo so powerful in comparison to any other team?
Well, we're not necessarily a team, but the model at Real is there's just multiple ways to make money rather than just the rat race of like the next deal, the next deal, the next deal. So they have stock options, which are actually amazing. I'm like, I'm a spender, not a saver. So just putting that away, having it matched has been amazing. And then the collaboration side is just really powerful because you now have a reason to mentor other agents, help other agents, because you can benefit from basically bringing agents on and kind of helping them. And so it's been really fun. And yeah, it just gives you multiple ways to make money. You build your career in real estate, then you're stashing a little bit over here as it's growing with the stock. You have some passive income with revenue share coming in where you're helping other agents, which is actually really rewarding and fun to work with other people while you're also selling real estate and, kind of doing what you were already doing. So it's been awesome.
Yeah, that's what like when we talked to each other quite a bit on the phone, and just like we were saying the other day, like we're kind of like the creative directors, and we love helping like these agents kind of find. I don't like so it's not like a traditional team, but in a sense we are bringing on like agents and having like a team setting all over North America essentially. Because I don't like when people join a team, and my partner Anna Oliver and I in Toronto do this too, with our actual like kind of team. But I don't like when people join a team and then get lost in one person. I think like I like the idea of, a lot of people will message me and be like, "Hey Matt, can you come to my listing and do this?" Well, like I'm like, I can, but what if we have a call and we kind of figure out what you can do so you can, so it's not about me, it's about you. That's what I want people to realize is like, how can you do this and scale it in a way that's authentic to you? Because like me going to their listing, yeah, I might get some views or whatever, but that doesn't really help them in the long run. So why not, don't hide behind someone else's brand, just like build your own thing a little bit.
100%.
Yeah.
I
Build your
love
own
that.
brand and build your own team.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, amazing. So what's next for you guys? I mean, I'm just curious to know, with all these creative videos, with all these apps coming up and the evolution of it, because the algorithm keeps changing, the way that real estate is done is changing. We see a lot of these shows coming up everywhere, whether it's on Netflix or other stream networks. So what's next for you guys? Like, I would like to hear from you, Paige, and then Matt.
Yeah, I mean, what's next for me is I love kind of where I'm at as far as volume wise and selling real estate. I've kind of reached my max of what I can handle on my own. So I would love to just kind of focus on still taking really good care of my clients and keeping my volume the same and doing the fun big ones as they come along, because I love the marketing side of it and getting these houses out there and these listings out there to everybody, but then also teaching other agents and just kind of growing our network and our group and really helping other people win, because it's super rewarding. I love watching people win, especially when it's something that I'm benefiting from. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to make sure, I feel like I owe you something. I want to make sure you're super successful. Here's everything I do. Let me help you in any way that I can. Here's all of my stuff. This is how I do things. So that's been really fun and rewarding for me. And yeah, just focusing on creating content that I enjoy, that I like, that I want to put out there, that I would want to see, and actually adding value to the world where I can, whether it's helpful, educational content or helping other agents.
I love that. What about you, Matt? I mean, are you coming up with your own documentary, or what are you doing? Because your videos now are pretty cool. Like, I'm very surprised how it has evolved over time. So,
No. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I just like that creative stuff as well. So very similar to Paige, like, I want to focus. I'm gonna do I don't do leases, but I've been pretty clear about that for years. Unless it's like, $100,000 a month or something, then maybe I'll swing in there. But no, I just want to do more of the creative. I want to help people. I love, like, kind of exactly what Paige said. I love helping people realize their potential, and then like them doing a badass video, and then just coming back and be like, thanks so much, Paige and Matt, for like helping me like navigate this and understanding how I could kind of see this for myself. Because I don't know, I think in this industry now, a lot of people are just looking to be kind of famous in their own kind of way, and they just want to get all the glory. I think both of us are it's kind of weird to say, because we do have, okay followings, but it's like, that's not really what drives us at all. What drives us is like, we like to make money. That drives us, because I am also a spender. And just like, really, this, ever since joining Real, like, helping people find their niche and their potential has been so rewarding. And I want to do more of that and just kind of be the creative director for these people. Because everyone has that somewhere. Like, everyone has their thing. And a lot of people will go through their whole life or their whole business without ever seeing it. And I think if we can just and sometimes you can't see it when you're in it, but you need that outside perspective to like look. Like when Paige was talking about the video she's posting today, I was just like, she said she didn't think of that, and I was just like, oh, you should do this. And it's just because she's in it, she's there every day, not really thinking about that. And then you just get this outside perspective that's like, oh, you should do this. Sometimes people need that on a larger level of like, hey, like, you're really bubbly, or you're really analytical, or you're really sarcastic. Let's bring that out more, and then do it this way. And some people don't see that. So that's what I'm excited to do more of, and what I've been loving to do lately with Paige.
I
The
love
whole
that.
point of
Sounds like
social,
hey, sounds like we are having here something very special, like a mastermind or something that we can just have a lot of different creatives coming in together, put a program or something special where other people that are lacking of that creativity, or at least that first gear towards that route, that they can tap into. And again, all of us, I will say, that have built something that is showing a roadmap towards success, that doesn't need to be the same roadmap that you follow, but there is certain things that are very common in all of us, which I think is what people need to hear and understand how they can apply it to their own personalities so that they can have their authentic growth, right? So I think that it's very important to offer advice once you've reached certain level, because that's what's the most rewarding thing, and you find that out over time. Like real estate is a great vehicle, right, to make money and live that great lifestyle that you want, but also a great vehicle to meet incredible people, to have a great setup for whatever you want to do. And I see that you guys are doing that by having access to these beautiful homes, but also now tapping into a great audience that want to know more about either your listings or how can they grow their brands or how can they do these viral videos. So it's very cool what you've done, and the concept with Real on how it's so collaborative. So I just want to plant a seed on how we can take it a little bit farther and do something all together.
I love it.
Love that.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Same thing.
But listen, I mean, hey, last time I was in Utah, it was in Park City, and it was fun. Actually, it was in March in the Promontory. I don't know if you're familiar with that neighborhood.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I like it there, and I will say that Toronto, my girlfriend's family is there, so she goes all the time. I haven't been there yet, so maybe Toronto, but we'll find out. And if it's too cold, hey, you can always come to Miami. It's nice. So
Yeah. Call me when you come this year, and go to Deer Valley. It's the best if you're coming to ski.
Deer Valley, I go all the time. This is where I used to go ski, because it's only skiing, and I don't snow, so I know snowboard, so I just ski, so I go there. I'll introduce you to a few people that have amazing house. I mean, one of my favorite actors back there, he was Gerard Butler, and he has a house there in the Promontory. So anyways, cool people that live there, and I love it there. So one thing I wanted to ask you, just to get everybody that is listening a little bit like thinking, if you gotta start over again, if you had to ask your younger self, hey, what is something that it's important for you to know now that you've had all these years of experience, what will that be?
I mean, for me, this is just, I don't know, I haven't thought in depth about this, but something I was thinking about when Matt was talking is that how everybody wants to just build a following and like get famous, basically, whether it's through these reality shows or just posting viral stuff on social media. The goal should never be to get famous. Like the goal should be to make money. Like, because I mean, for me, I'm like, I would rather just do my own thing, hang out with my friends and family. Like, I don't need that stuff, but it's the quickest way. I mean, it's free marketing. It's the quickest way to get your stuff out there. For me, it really helps with selling houses to build my brand. So if you have a specific goal in mind, like this is why I'm doing it, I'm very intentional with this, whether you're starting a business or you're trying to sell houses or you're trying to get more clients, I feel like that makes it a lot easier just to keep in mind that you're putting out value and trying to build your brand rather than just get famous. Because then when you do get the mean comments, if you're just focusing on that and you don't have an end goal in mind, they do get to you a lot more because you're just trying to get people to like you. Like you have to have a reason behind it and a goal of why you're putting this content out there. And I think if you're very strategic with it and you have a specific reason why you're doing it, it's just going to help you get to where you're going a lot faster.
I like that. So just to summarize that, is that when you're starting in this journey of creating content, be strategic and be intentional on what you want to accomplish with it. That's very powerful. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. Being intentional. From day one, I've said that, and now looking back, obviously you can't. You have to kind of have those losses to find out exactly what intentional means all the time. But I would just say, like, try and create something that's meaningful, that's that has substance, sustainability, and something around yourself. Don't wrap it up in something else, and don't let these big brokerages, these big box brokerages, make you feel like you're less than and you need them, because really they need you. So build something for yourself and build something because you want to build it. Don't build it because you want to be famous. Don't build, just build something that you're really proud of. And don't let people tell you that you can't, because that's all I heard for probably the first year and of doing it. And now some of those people, they'll reach out and be like, "Hey man, like I'd love to hop on a call." I'm like, no.
Well, everything happens like that, right?
Yeah.
Everybody thinks that it's impossible until it's done. I always say that it's good to share your dreams. And if they're not telling you that you're crazy, that means that you're not dreaming big enough. So I think that we are all very vocal about what we want to do, and we're putting it out there in the world.
Yeah.
So it's very, very nice. Look, I have a question that I always ask all of our guests. So I want to know, what does luxury mean to both of you? Let's start with you, Paige.
I mean, to me, luxury, obviously, I think of real estate and just giving a really high-end, like white glove experience. Like I have everything taken care of, from the stagers to the contractors, photography. We've got our marketing dialed in. We know exactly what we're doing. We're experienced, and we have everything taken care of from start to finish. We're not winging it over here. We have sold a lot of high-end homes. We know what we're talking about and what people who have money want when they're looking for homes. And it's just giving a really high-end experience that they kind of have to do nothing. They sit back and they know that we have everything taken care of.
Love that. Matt?
Yeah. So pretty much all of that. And just to add on what I've been thinking about a lot lately, because, yeah, like the experience, but understanding that the experience is different for each person. So, and depending where you are, like I always say, the person with the Ferrari is only seen as luxury to the people who value a Ferrari. So understanding who's valuing what, and the experience is going to differ for each and every person. So understanding how to make sure you can tailor it to that person and to the audience who might be, in this case, buying that home. So that's kind of to add on to what Paige was saying.
I think it's great, personalized experience, and that comes by having the right type of conversations, and those right conversations starts by asking the right questions. So it's very important that a lot of people these days, they just want to talk, do. Take a moment to actually listen to what the client wants, or the people that you're working with want, right? And then you can customize that for that specific person. I always love to give the example that a lot of people think when they see individuals like yourself, or even myself, right, that I do helicopter tours, right? So, because I'm a pilot, so I love that whole angle. But a lot of people, when they see all the things that we do, they might be thinking, yeah, well, but listen, I don't have the money to afford to do these experiences or these productions or this whatever. But it all comes down to, at the end of the day, do the simple things that are the details that makes a difference, right? First impressions matter. And I remember when I first started, what do I love doing? I love running. I love doing exercise. So rather than having somebody on a helicopter because I cannot afford, and I was not even a pilot, what I do is I tell the client, okay, we meet at 6 a.m. at the property, and just come on your running shorts. And why? Because this person loves running as well. And that's what connected us on a personal level. And it's important to understand that we're in the people's business. So we need to understand the lifestyle, the commonalities, what's going to make us stand out on those interests, right? And then tap on and double down on those, because you guys are doing that very creatively with your content, and that showcase what you love doing, and that connects you with people at that level. Me, I took them to run, and then when we were done running, the guy will take a shower at the house, breakfast will be ready based on the breakfast that they like, because you're asking the right questions, and then you're providing a unique experience. What you said, Matt, a personalized experience that regardless whether they end up buying the house or not, you're building that bond, and if it's the right person, you're building a whole network around it. So I think it's very, very critical to do that. And if you can document it and showcase it to the world, as you said, Paige, it's free marketing. You just need to have the audacity to say, listen, I don't care what people think. I'm just going to put it out there. And then you start creating momentum. So both of you, phenomenal. I'm a big fan of what you guys are doing. I know that, as we discussed earlier on, collaboration is the name of the game. So let's come up with some ideas of what we can do. And I appreciate you. So where can people find you? Is Instagram the best route if they want to work with you, collaborate with you? What's the best approach?
Yeah, I mean, right here, probably on Instagram is great. I think both of us are on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, but I'm mostly on Instagram. So as far as reaching out, that'd probably be the best platform for me.
The Queen of Utah. And Matt, same for you?
Same. I'm the
King
Queen of Toronto.
Yeah. There you go. I love it. I'm still waiting for one of your letters, man. The ones that you do, like Eminem style. Those are cool, man. That's amazing.
Come to Toronto. I'll give you a personalized one.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. Well, guys, it's been a pleasure. I wish you the best in everything that you're doing. And for those listening or watching, please make sure to follow Matt and Paige. They're phenomenal, source of inspiration. And I do think that if you're having a bad day, just tap into your content because it's different, it's unique, it's refreshing, and it also opens your mind. So thanks again, guys. And I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
See ya.